Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence. Dow Automotive Systems, improving durability and increasing design flexibility with Betamate structural adhesives at dowbetamate.com. And by Hyundai. Experience the 2011 Hyundai Sonata today at hyundaisonata.com.
This is Autoline Daily for Wednesday, the 8th of December, 2010. Guess who's back? That's right, it's me, Peter De Lorenzo, the auto extremist, bringing you another intoxicating episode of Autoline Daily. We've got all kinds of great stories for you, including a look at vehicle inventory levels and an analysis of compact cars over the years. Plus, if you stick around, I'll tell you what I think about some of the automotive Super Bowl commercials we expect to see next year. But first up, our friends at wardsauto.com have announced the winners of their 17th annual 10 Best Engines Award. The 2011 list represents the most turnover in the history of the competition. 6 completely new engines, and I'm making air quotes right now, took home gold. Audi's 3-liter supercharged V6 is a repeat offender. It won the judges over with its 333 horsepower and fat torque curve. I love it in my S4. Mini's 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-banger was praised for its performance and high specific output. Volkswagen's 2-liter TDI diesel is a sweetheart, and Wards thought so too. Chrysler took home a much-needed win with its brand-spanking-new Pentastar V6. This 3.6-liter engine is going in practically every vehicle the company makes. It wouldn't be a Wards 10 Best list without a BMW Inline 6. The company's turbocharged N55 model took home gold this year. Just like BMW, Volvo also won a spot on the list with a force-fed 3-liter straight 6. The judges were impressed by this engine's mid-range power and lack of turbo lag. Of course, we can't forget about the V8s. Wards judges loved Hyundai's new 5-liter Tau engine. It delivers a staggering 429 horsepower. Ford also took home a win with its reborn 302, which gives the Mustang plenty of muscle. Finally, Wards left 2 spots on the list for green cars. The Voltec drivetrain in the Chevy Volt won, and so did the Nissan Leaf, which curiously doesn't have an engine. Maybe it should be called the 10 Best Powertrains list going forward. Automakers need to convince Americans to buy a lot more compact cars if they're going to meet the government's fuel economy standards. The good news for consumers is compact cars are not as cramped as they used to be. According to a study by Edmunds.com, today's compacts weigh 549 pounds more, have 61 more horsepower, and a 6.4-inch longer wheelbase than they did in 1990. And yet they get 2.5 more miles per gallon. Part of that growth in size has to do with customers wanting more room and luggage space. The other reason has to do with bulking up the structure to meet safety standards. Old habits die hard. The Detroit News reports the Big Three have higher vehicle inventories than perhaps they should. GM is running at a 95-day supply. Chrysler is at 79, and Ford has enough stock on hand to last 71 days. Automakers should generally shoot for a 60-day supply of vehicles this time of year, and right now the industry average is 67. Jim Bunnell, general manager of GM's dealer networks, said the company forecasts strong demand next year and it doesn't want to be caught short, hence the high inventory levels. On the flip side, some luxury automakers are tight on vehicles. According to the Wall Street Journal, BMW is running short of some crossovers. Porsche's supply of Cayenne SUVs has all but dried up, and Audi has just 11 days worth of Q5s. Mercedes has a little more inventory than some of its competitors, but it's still low at just 46 days. Is the economy really getting better? According to Reuters, Autozone, the largest auto parts retailer in the U.S., just posted a 20% jump in quarterly earnings. That means more people are fixing their cars and keeping them longer, which isn't going to help GM with its inventory issues. Could this have something to do with the 10% unemployment rate in the U.S.? After the brief commercial interlude, I'll share some of my thoughts on automotive advertising during the Super Bowl. Here's a hint, not so much.
Introducing Bridgestone's 3rd generation of run-flat tires with groundbreaking new Bridgestone technologies. Bridgestone run-flat tires offer improved ride comfort, lower rolling resistance, and improved wear while giving you the peace of mind and comfort you need.
As Ad Age reported this week, 8 automobile manufacturers, count them, 8, have lined up to buy advertising time on the Super Bowl. That means 8 earnest and well-intentioned manufacturers: Audi, BMW, Chevrolet, Chrysler, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen in this case, along with their respective ad agencies, actually believe in total seriousness and with absolute certainty that they can muster the creative energy that not only will send their fellow automotive advertisers cowering into the corner, but that they will serve up spots that the Super Bowl viewing audience will actually care about. And despite all of that optimism, I'm here to tell you that there's not a chance of it happening either. Yeah, sure, one or two of these manufacturers' ad agencies will come up with a spot that may gain some instant, albeit brief, semi-notoriety, but it won't move the needle for these car companies, at least not to the degree that they think it will, or that they'll tell the media that it does. It's not that people won't be watching either, because they will. It's because what sells on the Super Bowl usually falls into two distinct categories: emotionally involving, compelling, powerful, or flat-out whacked-out humor. First of all, car companies take themselves far too seriously to go toe-to-toe with the kind of humor that's found on the Super Bowl, and when it comes to doing emotionally compelling stuff, they're usually successful so infrequently it doesn't even register. After all, when you start bandying about the figure of $3 million in media buy costs for one spot on the big game, and as much as $1 million plus in production costs on top of that, automotive marketers get very, very nervous. And when auto marketers get nervous, they tend to get ponderous, conservative, sober, and boring. The result? They end up producing a spot for the Super Bowl broadcast that's largely forgettable. Memo to car advertisers: if the creative work isn't good enough, or memorable enough, or 1984 Apple computer spot all-time great enough, then it's not worth it. And given the history of car advertising on the Super Bowl, the odds are definitely stacked against these manufacturers from making that kind of an impact. If it were up to me, I'd rule the Super Bowl to be a car commercial-free zone in the interest of keeping these automotive marketers from throwing away good money after bad and making the kind of mistakes that yield, in my book, one of two of the most dreaded reactions to advertising that can be achieved. One, total indifference, as in, was there a car spot on the game? Or two, the wince factor, as in, that spot was too horrific for words. And that's the high-octane truth for this week and the end of today's show. But before I sign off, watch Autoline After Hours. We webcast the whole thing live every Thursday evening starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. To check it out, just swing by our website, AutolineDetroit.tv. It's also available as an audio podcast via iTunes, or you can listen on your smartphone through a nifty little application called Stitcher. Give it a try. Once more, I'm Peter De Lorenzo, the Auto Extremist. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you tomorrow.